Hello and welcome to Creator Weekly. I'm Peggy Kay, and today there are updates from YouTube, Twitch, AdSense, Threads, Facebook, and a bunch more. Thank you so much for joining me. A quick note that there's no show next week because I'm going to the Google Product Expert Summit in Dublin, Ireland. Ooh, I'm excited, and I'll have more about that when I get back. So let's get started with some YouTube updates. There is a new YouTube Shorts remix option, extend with AI. So the idea is you find a short and you click the remix button. You can pick a 5-second segment and then use an AI prompt to extend it. I believe you can only use selected prompts. You can't enter just anything. So there's some guardrails there. The remix links back to the original, and this is gradually rolling out everywhere except the UK and EU. You know, I'm kind of weirded out by this since you can take a person and animate them. The only way to opt out is to opt out of all remixes for your channel. You can't pick and choose which ones are allowed. So it'll be interesting to see how this works. And then another update for creators who are monetizing their channel. If you are in the US and you live stream vertically, you can set it up so people can give you digital gifts, and viewers purchase the gifts with jewels, and jewels are purchased with real money. And then when you get gifts, you get rubies along with that, and that is worth money too. It's a complicated thing, but the idea is that you can now set gift goals. This was previously an experiment. So you can set a goal, and that's supposed to, encourage people to give you gifts. I haven't really tried it. I've tried vertical live streaming, but it just seems weird to me to ask for this kind of thing. What do I know? And then there are new gifts for autumn. They're digital, they're animated, they're cute. That's what a gift looks like. So if you're seeing a vertical live stream in the Shorts feed and they have gifts enabled, you can do this. Give people a cute skeleton or pumpkin. So one of the bigger updates this week I wanted to talk about is also for YouTubers who are monetizing. You can enable BrandConnect for your YouTube channel. And you can see here, this is what it looks like when it's not enabled. This new BrandConnect open call is a new way to get started with sponsorships. And, this is not really designed for channels that are already having sponsors and deals. This is like creators first deal kind of thing. The idea is a brand creates an open call, and then if your channel meets the criteria they set forward, you can submit a short to that, basically an ad. It shows it for cosmetics, that kind of thing. Once you submit the video, that's it. There's no back and forth with the brand. Either the brand accepts it or they do not. And if they do accept it, you can earn up to $3,500, which is pretty good. It's not always, that's like the maximum. And brands can use the selected content for 180 days. So it's not a permanent thing. You're not giving up the content permanently. After 180 days, they can choose to negotiate with the creator directly to use it for more. So this is open to US creators in the YouTube Partner Program. You have to enable BrandConnect on your Earn tab. This starts this fall, so soon, and the pilot program runs through December. And then this is an update I actually really like. It's not a huge deal, but YouTube has reorganized and renamed the channel moderation settings in YouTube Studio. So if you go to YouTube Studio on desktop, you can go into your settings. It's just a minor naming change. It was the community tab. Now it's the community moderation tab, which makes it more obvious. And now there's separate tabs, sub-tabs for content controls, user management, and channel guidelines. So it's just more organized now. Instead of being one giant list of settings, it's more organized. This is where you can go in and say, allow these words, don't allow these words, or add people who can help you moderate your live chat or your comments on your channel. And then YouTube Effect Maker. This is a platform where you can create effects for YouTube Shorts. Anyone can do this, and you can submit them, and then they might be available in the Shorts editor on mobile devices. They have new AI-powered effects that you can use. AI transformation, AI randomizer, AI head gesture quiz, and a drawing template. So the idea is that this platform lets you code these effects, so you don't have to know any coding. And these templates just help you get started. So that's kind of fun. If you like making effects, you should give it a try. It's at effects.youtube.com. And then YouTube announced a policy change. They are updating their medical misinformation policy to enforce against content that falsely claims tobacco or nicotine are not addictive or harmful. So you can't make videos about how good for you smoking is or chewing tobacco or anything like that. They're going to begin enforcement on October 20th. It gives you a heads up if that's the kind of content that you make. I want to say hello to folks in the live chat. Hi, Craig. Hi, Jolyn. If you're here, please stop by and say hello and say what you think about this week's updates. So I want to move on to, this is what everybody is talking about this week. OpenAI, that's who makes ChatGPT, they released the Sora 2 video generation model. Sora 2 can generate video along with audio, and they say it is much better at physics, having realistic physics and realistic video generation. But that's not exactly what people are talking about. Along with this, OpenAI released a Sora app for iOS. Now, this is an app that lets you make videos or remix existing videos, and there's an algorithmic feed. You can have friends. It's a social platform for AI-generated video. And really, really notably, you can use a cameo feature to have real people in your generated videos, either yourself or your friends. And so the idea is you sign up for the app, and when you first sign in, they prompt you to capture a short video of yourself, turning your head around, using your likeness, and then you choose who can actually use your Cameo profile to generate new videos. It's interesting, people love it. And the original announcement features the cameo of Sam Altman, where it looks realistic. You can have him talk. And you've seen a lot of videos where it's like, oh, Sam Altman being arrested, doing all these crazy things. He's obviously cool with it. It seems like a kind of weird thing, though. If you allow this, people could make these deep fake videos of you doing things that you didn't do. It seems like a potential issue to me, but what do I know? It's obviously not for me. There was a lot of controversy when this launched also because it was clear people could generate videos using copyrighted and trademarked characters doing things they wouldn't usually do. So think like SpongeBob robbing the bank kind of thing. And of course, rights holders are not happy with that. So since it launched, Sam Altman posted that they have added more controls for rights holders. So some of the videos you could generate when it first launched are now blocked. They knew this was going to happen. It's very much a culture of doing something, don't ask permission, ask forgiveness kind of thing. It's like, oh, we'll let them do this and we'll see if we get away with it. But obviously, rights holders are not happy about this. They said they're going to work more with rights holders. And Altman also noted that people are generating a lot more videos than they expected. And a lot of those videos, they don't get a lot of views. People are just churning out stuff and it's free to use for now. But this is obviously expensive for OpenAI. And they're talking about eventually having a revenue model, and maybe they'll even be revenue sharing with these rights holders, give them a little bit of money. We'll see how this actually plays out. I think it's interesting that they seem like they didn't anticipate this. It seems really obvious to me that there would be a lot. And I suspect, like a lot of things, there's a lot of novelty involved. But if they wait 6 months, probably people aren't going to be generating as many videos as they do now, because a lot of people get the app for the first time. It's like, oh, wow, this is cool. And they, create a lot of videos, and then, the novelty wears off and they move on to something else. And yeah, I agree. Jolyn says, I'm disappointed they haven't got an Android app. Yeah, I don't know why they went with iOS first. Android is obviously not their priority. I don't know if it is actually a technical reason or it's just like Sam Altman has an iPhone, so therefore we made the iOS version. But it is concerning, these deep fakes are so easy to create now. I think we're going to have more and more cases where it's like public figures, even non-public figures, in videos doing things that they didn't do. Is it real? Is it not real? It's going to be harder and harder to tell. So I think there's also, obviously an issue for creators. They talk about rights holders, but what about people who have a famous likeness? I don't know, Mr. Beast or something. He probably doesn't want people making deep fakes of him. How famous do you have to be to actually have protections? I think that's another issue that we're going to be talking about. So I'm going to move on. On Twitch, they have a new social media badge. It may only be available for a limited time. You can get this badge by sharing clips from participating channels to Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And what you do is you share a clip, and then you go to the page in your account where you submit a link to where you shared it. And you get these badges based on the total number of views. So if you get 100 views, that's the lowest badge. If you get 100,000 views, you get the gold badge with the crown. I think it's really interesting that Twitch is basically doing this to encourage people to post on other platforms. I don't know if it really works as good promotion for the Twitch channels. Maybe yes, maybe no. But I think it's interesting that this is what they're doing, which is obviously a big encouragement because everyone likes badge, right? And as a side note, TwitchCon, their big annual conference, turns 10 this year. And one of the things I'm reading is that they may be missing a lot of the most prominent Twitch streamers because they're concerned about harassment and stalking. Apparently last year it was really bad. Last year, a couple of Twitch streamers were actually sexually assaulted at TwitchCon. It's not clear there were even any repercussions, and law enforcement wasn't brought in. It sounds really bad to me. So especially, for female streamers who have had death threats because they rejected someone. I mean, it's insane. So I would like to see how Twitch steps up and actually makes the creators and attendees of its main conference feel safe enough to go. I mean, that seems terrible to me. Right. Just to mention that StreamYard has had a whole bunch of updates recently. Their latest is that you can use their built-in tools to create a thumbnail for your scheduled live stream. There's templates, smart background removal, profile picture integration to make it really easy. Not necessarily the greatest thumbnail, but it's probably better than nothing. And, it's got AI tools, so forth. So if you use StreamYard, you might want to check this out. And I'm going to shift gears now away from video to a sort of big update from AdSense. AdSense for content. This is AdSense ads you're using to monetize your website or blog. And there is a new traffic source breakdown report that shows traffic from popular search engines, social media sites, and a few other sites. You can see a list of the sites that it tracks. So for search engines, it has traffic from Bing and Google, and then social media, Instagram, Facebook, X, Twitter, and YouTube. You can see how you're getting ad traffic on your blog or website from your YouTube channel, for example. I checked my site, and the top sources are Google, Direct, and Bing, and other. That's not surprising, but I think this is interesting. If you have a website or blog, this shows you right away if you're getting a substantial amount of traffic from social media. It's also interesting, I think they list a bunch of sites that I had not heard of before. These are all Korean sites, community platforms, that sort of thing. So I suspect there will be additional sites added in the future, but for right now, this is what it is. And if you're using AdSense for content, you should check it out in your reports. The numbers start on July 21st, 2025. So they're not going to have this data before July 21st. All right, I'm going to shift gears over to social media now. A few updates. Facebook added new fan features. These are fan challenges from creators. So a creator posts a challenge, and then there is a leaderboard that has challenges that have the most reactions. And there's also custom top fan badges. So a creator can set up these custom badges. The top fans will then show the badge when they make a comment on the creator's page or profile. So this is meant to be more engaging, build community. Everybody likes a challenge, right? It's like a badge. Give people badges and challenges, and they will interact. And then this sounds a little concerning. Meta announced that they will start personalizing content and ads based on your AI interactions. This goes into effect in December. They say that they will not personalize ads on sensitive topics like religious views, sexual orientation, political views, health, racial or ethnic origin, philosophical beliefs, or trade union membership. But still, a lot of people are using these chatbots to talk about very personal things, things that they wouldn't post about publicly, and then it's going to start influencing the ads they see, the recommended content they have. It just seems kind of creepy to me. The flip side is that Instagram head Adam Mosseri made a whole video talking about how they're not listening to you, because some people say, oh, I talked with my friend about, I don't know, buying a dishwasher, and then I saw all these dishwasher ads. They must be listening. And he says, no, we're not doing that. But they will actually use the interests of people you are friends with or connected to otherwise to show you ads. So if I'm talking to someone about buying a dishwasher and that person does some searches about dishwashers, then Facebook knows that that person is connected to me and shows me dishwasher ads. Again, this seems super creepy and intrusive and privacy invading. Yeah, it's like Facebook. All the other companies are like, oh, we won't use anything personal. And Facebook's like, yes, we're using your information, or Instagram, Meta. One of the things I remember reading about, a little scandalous, is that some of this tracking that Meta does is because people have like a share to Facebook button on their website. And these buttons were available on things like tax preparation websites. And so it was sending financial information back to Meta. Great stuff, right? I'm sure the advertisers love it, but I don't. All right. So the other update I wanted to mention is for Threads. They launched something called communities, and these are less, communities. It's sort of like more topics on steroids. So you have like a topic feed, and you can use that topic to post, and then it's all together. There's only about 100 of these communities right now. It's experimental. Membership is public, and people will see it on your profile, and you will see the communities you've joined in your feeds list, so you can get a feed of content. Eventually, there will be special badges for standout community contributors. It probably has to do with engagement. So, one of the things that you look for is a community and topic you're interested in. They have NBA and other sports. They have K-pop, and they have also a YouTube creators community. I joined that one just to see what people are posting. Is this useful? I'm not sure. It just kind of seems like following a topic. Let's see. And then I just wanted to mention this study done by Buffer. Buffer is a social media management service. They analyzed more than 18 million posts on X. And you can read this week's newsletter. There's a link in the description for the details. But the bottom line is, if you want your posts seen, you need to pay for X Premium. And if you get X Premium Pro, the highest level, which is like $40 a month, that's how you get your posts seen. Don't post a link, because posts with links are penalized. But if you're going to post a link, again, you need this most expensive subscription. It's all kind of pretty bleak. Yeah, I don't know if there's much point posting on X unless you really want to reach the people who are active there, which, I'm not sure I care about. So nothing surprising, but there are numbers. I just want to say really quick, again, what was happening 10 years ago. I'm doing this to celebrate 10 years of Creator Weekly newsletter posts. And this week, 10 years ago this week, Google launched the Accelerated Mobile Pages, or AMP project. So people were consuming more web content on their mobile devices, and AMP was designed to improve the mobile web experience, be fast, flexible, beautiful, and include compelling and effective ads, because Google is an ad business. And they said, oh, we're embracing the open web. There's a lot of publishers around this time that were having specific apps. So it's like you have to have their app to get the news. And it was clearly meant to be a competitor to Facebook Instant Articles, which had launched in May. This shows full articles in the Facebook mobile app, so people never have to leave the app to get the articles. And there's also the Apple News app, which had previously launched. Again, they preferred special formats, and people read the news in the app, and Google said, hey, we want the news to be open on the web. There were more than 30 publishers that supported AMP when it launched. WordPress, social media like Twitter and Pinterest and LinkedIn, and a bunch of news publications, Wall Street Journal, Washington Post, Guardian, Economist, a whole bunch of them. And as noted, it supported rich content, so images, videos, maps, social plugins, and it's designed to load really fast on mobile. So Google said, well, this allows the publisher to continue to host their content on their own website while allowing for efficient distribution through Google's high-performance global cache. And again, the important thing is it also supported ads, important for monetization. And Google leaned into this. They announced this in October 2015. It came to Google Search in 2016, and they expanded where these AMP articles showed, not just in the top stories, but eventually in the main section of the mobile search results. There were concerns from publishers that despite this being on the open web, this was giving Google too much power to shape the mobile web. But of course, they used it anyway because they wanted their post to be seen. And Google was actually highlighting these AMP articles in the top stories section. So Google seemed to be leaning into this. They announced it was not just AMP, or they announced it was just AMP. It was not just accelerated mobile pages. They said, these pages are mobile friendly, but it's not just for mobile. And what happened? It didn't actually last very long. In 2021, Google Search shifted to using page experience signals in site ranking. This is things like the core web vitals, page loading, mobile friendliness. If it had HTTPS security and lack of intrusive interstitials, that means really intrusive ads. And they said, oh, well, it's no longer required for an article to use the AMP format to appear in the top stories carousel. So of course, Twitter stopped supporting it. Publishers stopped bothering to do this because this was the whole separate format they had to use. And if it wasn't necessary to be highlighted, why do this? And reading all these updates in 2015, especially, publishers had to jump through all these hoops to get their content seen. There was this Mobilegeddon where Google started preferring indexing mobile version of sites, pushing these different formats for articles like AMP, being pushed to pivot to video from articles, and these old-timey news organizations, they just want their content to be seen, and of course for people to look at the ads. It was a rough time. I like to think it's slightly better now, but now the problem is less that they need special formats and more that people are using AI overviews or just reading the headlines on social media. It's not easy. So I don't know how publishers will eventually be able to solve this. It's hard times. So thank you, everyone, for joining me today. I appreciate seeing you all here. I see Ramat and Craig and Jolyn and Nina and Sita. Hello. Thank you for joining me. Again, I won't be here next Sunday, but I'll be back in 2 weeks. I will see you all then. Have a great week.